Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, January 31st, 2022. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves announced on radio on Sunday that Vincent 2022 is on. However, he said the scale of the festival will be based on the island's vaccination rate. He noted that after a discussion at length with Cabinet and the Carnival Development Board, the decision was taken to host the festival this year with consideration given to several factors, including the economic and social aspect of the Vincentian society.
It was decided clearly that we'll have Carnival this year. And I think it is important for us to identify what are the three basic functions of the Carnival. First of all, it's a mass cultural event where we showcase our talent in mass and calypso and pan, the usual areas of performance, creativity and performance by our artists. Secondly, it's an occasion for economic activity. The number of persons are involved. A lot of persons will come in, money spent, and that's all for the good. And thirdly, and very importantly, it's a release of persons. Every society needs occasions when you have releases.
PM Gonsalves said the island's vaccination rate was also considered, noting that persons have 2 months to get the vaccination rate up to 70%.
They came with the proposal for a carnival taking into account the existing protocols and the existing levels of vaccination. So naturally I raised the question, what would we have? What kind of carnival would we have if we go for 70% vaccination by the end of March? So we try and do that in February and March, and we do an all-out bigger campaign than ever. This is not just a question of getting the vaccine rate up. That's one thing, but really, we need something bigger than the slimmed-down version of Carnival.
The Prime Minister noted that Vincentians have been through a challenging 2 years dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruption of La Soufrière volcano.
And the public sector and the private sector very much engaged. And we have had 2 difficult years. We have had the pandemic, we had the volcanic eruptions, and many persons forget that we had something on July the 2nd last year called Hurricane Elsa, the first of the Atlantic hurricane season. It's amazing that you get a blow by a hurricane and in the midst of the other things you tend to forget it. A lot of people don't remember that.
The Carnival Development Cooperation CDC is expected to hold a news conference at 10 a.m. tomorrow, where it is expected further plans for Vincent 2022 will be further outlined. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has recorded another COVID-19 death, taking the country's death toll from the viral illness to 94. The latest victim is a 74-year-old male who tested positive for COVID-19 on January 22nd, 2022 and was admitted to the isolation ward at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. He died on Sunday, January 30th, 2022 of COVID-19 pneumonia. He was unvaccinated. His death brings the death toll from COVID-19 to 94. There are now 822 active cases of COVID-19 after 3 recoveries were recorded. Some 17 persons are currently hospitalized. Vaccines administered on island to date total 63,669. New studies have shown that cannabis can suppress the long-standing effects of the COVID-19 virus. This was reported by infectious disease specialist Dr. Jerrol Thompson during this morning's talk show on WeFM. Dr. Thompson, however, noted that the properties needed from the herbs so it can work efficiently cannot be activated using heat, such as smoking or baking, but instead through consumption of the plant in its raw form, such as smoothies.
Is able to quell the cytokine storm. But surprisingly, it is not as a result of smoking the cannabis.
No, got you.
Or it's not a result of baking the cannabis. Doing brownies or anything like that. Or heat it anyway.
Right.
You must remember that in the plant, the cannabis exists in what's called the acid form.
Got you.
And when you heat it to a certain degree, in terms of smoking it or baking it, it converts it into the active form.
Got you.
They're finding that the active form, baking it, smoking it, doesn't have the impact of quelling the cytokine storm.
Okay.
It's using it in its natural form. In other words, blending it in a blender.
In a blender and just
juicing it with some other juices.
Wow, okay.
That is what seems to work.
Dr. Thompson made it clear that this is not a recommendation to treat COVID, noting that studies are still being conducted. However, that it is his duty as a health professional to guide the public on stuff they might have misunderstood.
Done right now in the United States, and I believe one is due to start in Canada. So it's still very early. So I want to caution everybody, but it's my duty to report this.
Of course.
Because I didn't want the articles have been circulated around.
Right.
The individual may think, well, let me go and smoke cannabis for medicinal purposes. That will help keep COVID away. But it is not the smoking that does it.
Smoking is,
is the blending and the using cannabis,
which is probably even more natural. Got you.
That has certain components that is going to tame and control the way the immune system responds, so that it is more targeted, more organized, a little bit more structured in the way it is going to respond to the virus. And so you don't have these other added side effects from the virus itself.
A ceremony was held today at the new housing settlement at Lomans Bay to present 28 houses made up of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, which will be handed over to families of Rose Place who had to be relocated to make way for the multi-million-dollar port modernization project. Assistant Project Manager of the Port Modernization Project, Lenskie Douglas, said the substantial completion of the houses under the Lomans Bay resettlement project is an important milestone in the onward march for the government to deliver a modernized port facility in capital Kingstown.
Prior to the commencement of works on site here, the Port Modernization Project executed a resettlement consultancy towards the development of a resettlement action plan to guide discussions on how project-affected persons will be addressed. We will recall the exercise of compensating vendors to relocate their activities from the seawall in Kingstown during May of 2020. The 28 structures constructed here in Lomans Bay are to accommodate the project-affected residents. We will next be moving towards addressing the shops operated on the Rose Place beachfront, then the fisher folk and storage unit owners. Yes, as you look around, there is still some additional work to be done on site here. There's a stretch of road to be extended to allow for better traffic circulation on site, and a retaining wall to support the main road above the 3-bedroom structures to the front of the site location. And most importantly, we have to have the utilities, electricity and water connected in the name of the new occupants. But today, we witness the result of focused work of our main contractor, the Housing Land Development Corporation, which spanned over the past 16 months.
Douglas said the cost for the initial resettlement project for the Rose Place residents who lived on the beachfront on or before March 30th, 2019 was 4.47 million EC dollars. However, by the time the project is completed, it is estimated at 4.8 million EC dollars.
By way of structural details, a total of 28 structures are on site, comprising a mix of 1- and 2-bedroom duplexes, along with standalone 3-bedroom structures. A 1-bedroom unit is 320 square feet. A 2-bedroom unit is 500 square feet. A 3-bedroom unit is 725 square feet. All units have bathroom, bedroom, an open kitchen and sitting room, veranda, tile shower, internal plumbing and electrical connection, paved road access throughout the site. Because our project-affected resident population included persons with physical challenge, pre-selected structures on site were built specially for these individuals. Some affected residents had a house shop unit in Rose Place. Partially elevated structures strategically placed on site were built to allow for future expansion and continued operation of their business. These structures represent improved living conditions by far, compared to living on the beach, having to listen to the sound of pounding waves, especially when there is a bad weather advisory. Much improved sanitation conditions and privacy as well.
Douglas further noted that the construction project of the houses at Lomans Bay created much-needed employment directly and indirectly for over 200 suppliers, providing necessary employment relief at a critical time. He also noted that consultation activities with the project-affected residents ensured that their input into the process can be heard as they attempt to manage and mitigate the social impacts.
It was the project-affected residents who decided that the best way of distributing these housing units will be to have a random selection event. This event we concluded at the Kingston Methodist Church Hall on Wednesday, the 26th of January. After today's event, the transition to the residents occupying these facilities commenced. Both communities stand to benefit from this development. The road repair works and installation of additional street lights are some of the immediate benefits already realized for the Lomans Bay community, improving safety and ease of access. When the previously occupied structures on the beach at Rose Place are demolished and cleared away, the Rose Place community too will see benefits. The input of all the teams, suppliers, individuals into making this event today a reality is much appreciated, especially the efforts of over the past week by VINLEC, CWSA, and the HLDC. We are to mark this one down as another major accomplishment to the housing revolution and the implementation of a socially sensitive construction project as the government seeks to improve lives and livelihoods and deliver modern port facilities through the Kingston Port Modernization project.
Minister of Urban Development, Airports, Seaports and Local Government, Julian Francis, urged the persons who will be occupying the housing lots at the Lomans Bay Housing Settlement to take good care of their property and the environment.
Take care of your units, manage it well, control your garbage. Special facilities, I'm sure, will be put in place by the project management unit and HLDC for disposal of garbage, and arrangements made with CWSA. Prior to us building here, this was almost what should have been a forest reserve, was almost a dumping ground. Construction material from all over the country were being dumped between the trees, including business people who had heavy equipment and the likes, chose here as a dumping ground. And the chief surveyor advised that this is a suitable place to build, and the cabinet decided, let us clean it up, get rid of all the garbage, and put this wonderful village here for the residents of Rose Place Bottom.
The RSVG police force has launched an investigation into a stabbing incident that occurred on Saturday, January 29, 2022 at Diamond, which left one man dead and another currently warded at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital in a reportedly stable condition with multiple stab wounds about his body. According to reports, on Saturday at about midday, the deceased Kevin George, a 27-year-old laborer of Diamond, and the accused allegedly had a disagreement and an argument ensued. As a consequence, an altercation arose between both men, which resulted in the deceased and the accused receiving injuries to their body. Both men were subsequently taken to the Stubbs Polyclinic for medical assistance. However, George succumbed to his injuries and the accused is currently a patient at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, reportedly in a stable condition. The police say investigations in the matter are ongoing. Persons with information that can assist with the investigation are encouraged to contact the Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crimes at telephone number 1784-4561-339, the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department at telephone number 1784-4561-810, or the officer in charge of the South Central Division at 1784-4584-200, or any police station or police officer you are comfortable with. The police say all information received would be treated confidentially. And the police are investigating the circumstances surrounding a fatal accident that occurred on Friday, January 28, 2022, along the Cumberland Public Road, which left one man dead and two persons nursing injuries. The police say, according to their investigations, at about 6:05 p.m. on Friday, motor vehicle RY737, a red Suzuki S4 owned by Hannah Hamilton of Queens Drive and driven by Sigmund Sharp, a 49-year-old carpenter of Calico, Chateaubriand, was traveling along the Cumberland Public Road when he allegedly lost control of the vehicle, which ran off the road. Sharp reportedly sustained severe injuries to his head and was pronounced dead on the scene by the district medical officer. Passenger Nataki Williams of Chateaubriand received injuries to the left side of her head and was taken to the Chateaubriand Hospital, while Pascal Westfield, also of Chateaubriand, sustained injuries to his right elbow. Both were treated and discharged. The police say investigation into the incident is ongoing. In other news, while clothing is accepted as donation to the Salvation Army, Administrator Major Ernest Gachlin is asking that persons donate clothing and other items that are in good condition. In a recent interview with SVG-TV News, Captain Gachlin shared some bad experiences in which he said he drove to persons' homes to collect clothing and other items, but on examination, they were not suitable to distribute to anyone.
Just before that, one of the things that I discovered as well, when we came, we used to go and collect clothes by people when they call us to go and collect clothes. But due to many, I wouldn't say bad experiences we had, because there were many times we went and collect clothes and then they were not in good condition. We just have to throw them away because nobody really wants them. So I would say that if somebody wants to give something to the Salvation Army or anybody, try to give what is good. If not because you don't want it. If you don't want it, that means nobody else will want it as well. Okay, you may have much, you don't want to use it, not because you don't want it, but you know, if you give, that's why we stop going by people collecting clothes. If you have clothes to give, then you bring them. If they're good, we accept them. If they're not good, then they're here. So we don't waste our time, gas, and all that to go for them.
Captain Gachlin said that the Salvation Army is very grateful for all the help that it has been getting, especially last year where the needs were greater than previous years.
During the eruption, it was higher, the demand was higher, because remember we had a lot of people who were at the shelters, although we were able to, you know, assist them from the second day of the eruption to the end of July. We cook food and we carry to the shelters, and we give also cook foodstuff to go and cook as well. But people still asking. Not the same, maybe not the same way, but they're still asking. So the need is still there. Yeah, and some people maybe without a job as well, you understand? Yeah. So, yeah.
The Salvation Army administrator said that they will continue to work with everyone to ensure that the vulnerable and poor are taken care of. He also used the opportunity to appeal to citizens to continue to protect themselves in this pandemic.
Virus is still there, and as I said many times, that we have to play our parts. You know, do what we have to do in order to prevent it. I wouldn't say to eliminate it completely, but we can minimize it if everybody plays their part. You know, we do what we have to do, because many times I see people, you know, on the road, there's no social distancing at all, and that is not good. No mask, some of them no mask. That is not good. Once we continue to do that, is more cases we're going to have every day. So we can play our part, and then God will do the rest for us.